Yet again, absolutely incredible from Manchester United. They display a resilience more frequently than I think any other team. They fight to the bitter end. They clearly are playing for their manager. Whatever you think of Eric Ten Hag, whatever you think of the limitations of Ten Hag, whatever you think of the limitations of this squad, they really do fight for their manager. Eric Ten Hag has been on the precipice of a sacking for ages. We've constantly felt like Manchester United are going to make a change. We've constantly felt like this will be the result that sees him depart. But what happens? Every time we get to that point, the team pull a massive result out of the bag. And now they're actually finding a little bit of rhythm. And it's getting to the stage where you can actually say this sentence and it not be totally and utterly moronic. I think Manchester United will qualify for the European Cup. I think that Manchester United will make it into the top four. You can say that sentence and it isn't totally and utterly bewilderingly wild. You can think it. It's going to be tough. There's a lot of things that need to go their way. They need to keep playing to a level that is potentially even beyond them. They need Villa and Tottenham to drop some points, but it isn't now beyond the realms of possibility that Manchester United will make it into next season's Champions League. Can you believe that we are in a situation where that is a realistic, fairly realistic at least, realistic possibility? Because that's where we are. You know, it was only a few days ago that Eric Ten Hag was talking about an £85 million black hole in the club's finances if they don't make it. Because of the strict regulations that FFP are now placing on clubs, Manchester United need to be in the Champions League. It's got to the stage now where if they don't make it, if they lose out on that money, they cannot sign the players that they so desperately need. The reason that they didn't sign the striker that they so desperately needed was because of FFP. It's because of the financial restrictions that are placed on the club. So, dropping out of the Champions League, dropping out of Europe altogether was a potential reality at the beginning of the season. But dropping out of the Champions League would be huge for them. 85 million quid minimum is what it will cost them. He said that. He flagged that. His players heard that. And what have they done now? They have won 4 games on the bounce. And today they did it in the most Manchester United of ways possible. A homegrown player securing a very late victory at Villa Park. Villa Park as a stadium is synonymous with last gasp Manchester United winners. Last gasp Manchester United winners from a homegrown graduate. If I were to say to you, name one goal that represents Villa Park. I may be being slightly sneery to Aston Villa here, but I don't think it's a goal scored by Villa. Like, I think certain goals are represented by certain goals represent certain stadiums. You know, if I were to say to you Highbury, maybe when Thierry Henry ran the length of the pitch against Tottenham and did the knee slide. Maybe when Tony Adams scored that goal against Everton and just stood there. There are lots of examples. If I say Villa Park, the most Villa Park goal that I can think of is a Manchester United player. And yet again today, we had a Manchester United player scoring at the death to secure his team a victory. And Scott McTominay has pulled it out of the bag yet again. And as a result of his undying desperation to get on the score sheet, his constant belief that he can affect the game, Manchester United have managed to cut the gap to the top 4 to only 6 points. They're 6 points behind. Look, that's difficult. Don't get me wrong. 6 points is 6 points. But they can now potentially do it. And we have to give an awful lot of credit today to 3 people. 3 individuals, I believe, deserve an awful lot of credit. They are the manager, Eric Ten Hag. You know, I was watching on the telly, and when he brought Scott McTominay on, it was positioned by the commentary team that it was a negative signing, a negative introduction. It was an introduction that was designed to make sure that both teams secured a point. It wasn't an ambitious signing. It wasn't a substitution that was designed to maybe make sure that Manchester United go for the jugular, maybe make sure that Manchester United accrue the 3 points. It was a substitution that was made to make sure that both teams secure a point. Is how it was positioned in the commentary team. But he came on and he won the game yet again. Look, it wasn't quite as late as what we saw from Manchester United recently. You know, it was what? Just over a week, 10 days ago, right? where Manchester United played at Wolves and they fought to the bitter end to secure the points. It wasn't quite as late as that. It wasn't quite as desperate as that. But yet again, they fought to the bitter end. Yet again, they have showed that they will fight for their manager until the very end. And it's ironic that the two players that I think deserve huge amounts of credit today are the two players that Erik ten Hag was ready to let go in the summer. I have been a huge critic of Harry Maguire. Everybody that's ever watched this channel before will know that I am particularly hostile to Harry Maguire. If you're new to this channel, welcome. But also you should know that there is a back catalogue of me being incredibly sneery, hostile and questioning towards the ability of Harry Maguire. I thought he was exemplary today. I thought he did so well. He won everything in either box. Basically, if it was crossed into a box at Villa Park, Harry Maguire headed it out. Either box. It got to the stage where you think, if somebody crosses in a washing machine, Harry Maguire's going to stick his head on it. If somebody were to cross in a double-decker bus, Harry Maguire is going to stick his head on it. And he won everything. Every single Manchester United corner was such a threat because Villa didn't have a plan or didn't execute the plan to look after Maguire. He won it all. And as a result, Manchester United took the lead. Højlund, smart little finish, smart little pivot and finish. Did well to remain on side. It was an instinctive goal from their centre forward. And he started to find a little bit of rhythm here. Do you know what I also thought was quite good about Højlund? He strikes me as being quite a nice bloke. Like, a little bit cheeky. You've seen, like, he sent that text to Kasper Schmeichel and all that. So he's got a little bit of an edge, which I think is good. But he strikes me as being like a really nice bloke. When the winner went in, when Scott McTominay scores the winner, have a look at Højlund. He's making a real point of looking at the Aston Villa fans behind that goal and all around the stadium, all the way back to the whole end at the other end. And he's really giving it to them. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing for him. I think you need that as a centre forward. You need that little edge, that moment of spite, that moment of venom. And the fact that he did that off the back of scoring, off the back of Manchester United winning, bodes very well for him as a player. He's doing very well. And McTominay is another player that Ten Hag was going to let go, and he's won the game. But Maguire today, not only did he win everything, set up the goal for Højlund, he also had a very difficult task because he had to play on the wrong side. You know, both Varane and Maguire right-footed. They prefer to play on that right-hand side. So Ten Hag had to make a decision, and he chose to put Maguire on the left. Maybe that's because of his relationship and his previous good form, linking up with Luke Shaw before Luke Shaw went off. God, when Lindelof came on, that was troubling, wasn't it? Everyone was attacking him. I think every Aston Villa player fancied a go at Lindelof. But up until that point, Maguire, obviously playing on the left-hand side, was probably done partly because of the Luke Shaw relationship, but maybe partly because Ten Hag trusts him more than Varane. I thought Varane was all over the place. Like, honestly, I thought it was despicable performance from him. Like, he was off the pace, he was slow, he was cowardly in challenges. You think about the goal. The Dougie Luiz goal came simply because it was too easy to get across him. It was too easy to get across Varane. Dougie Luiz, excellent player, top-class player. But he made his way across Varane as if Varane wasn't there. And about 10 minutes before that, the same thing happened. Ollie Watkins makes it across Varane. If Varane isn't there, and the ball hits Onana on the chest. And that is why Ollie Watkins will never be an elite player. Because he's made it across, he's got the whole goal to aim at, and he somehow manages to smack the ball straight into Onana. Onana stood there like that. He made himself as big as possible, but he didn't see it coming, didn't know what to do. And Ollie Watkins has managed to play the ball at the perfect height for it to hit Onana's brave and bold chest. He has to go high, he has to go low, he has to not play it the perfect height for the keeper into the keeper. Shoddy, I thought, from Watkins. But like I say, I thought Maguire was excellent, and Gareth Southgate was watching. So I think we know exactly what's going to happen at the Euros in Germany. However, do you know what? He would have been watching Højlund, actually, because Højlund would be leading the line against Maguire in Germany. But I'll tell you who else I hope he's watching. Kobbie Mainoo's excellent, isn't he? He is a sensational player. In fact, in the build-up for the winner, the way that he just uses his body. You know, I watched the game earlier. I did a review on this channel where I speak about Ødegaard and the brilliance of the way that Ødegaard uses his body, just fluidly leaving players behind by feinting to go one way, feinting to go the other way, and then going in a third direction. Mainoo does a bit of that as the game, you know, ebbs towards the end of the game. Desperation right in front of the Manchester United fans. calm. Lays it back. Dalot whips it in beautifully. And McTominay's header was a bullet. Excellent, excellent goal. But Kobe Mainoo, man. Southgate being there to presumably watch Maguire, maybe see how Shaw does, maybe see how Højlund does. It's important to acknowledge how the opposition players are doing. Maybe even, the likes of Watkins. But Southgate now needs to make a beeline in that players, what do they call it? The area they all go after the game, whatever that's called. Southgate needs to get over to Kobe Mainoo and get him an England cap. Sharpish. But a wonderful day for Manchester United. Kobe Mainoo controlled the midfield at various points, which isn't easy to do. John McGinn is such a fantastic player. And Kobe Mainoo, I think he does, I know it's meant to be a partnership, but Mainoo and Casemiro is what? 80% Mainoo. Casemiro be learning something off the kid. I'm joking. But excellent from Mainoo, excellent from Manchester United. Scott McTominay got to be one of the most underrated players in the Premier League this season. The fact that Manchester United fans, a lot of the ones I know very closely, especially, they don't like to give him the credit that I believe he deserves. An excellent performance from Manchester United. Ten Hag, Harry Maguire, Rasmus Højlund and Scott McTominay. 4 players shone today. And, 4 people involved in Manchester United shone today. And they are the 4 that I've given an awful lot of stick to. So fair play to them. Did very well. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a like. Please click subscribe as well. Massively helps me out. And I would love to welcome you into this community. Please do click that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful Sunday night.